This is about a man who's struggling with his wife's belief that their newborn baby is actually their deceased daughter, reincarnated. So we're going to try to unpack this as best as we can, look at the different sides of what people are saying on Reddit, and see what this whole thing might mean for this family.
Yeah, it's definitely delicate and we got to be sensitive, but also, like, you can't ignore the fact that there's potential for harm here.
Exactly. So to give a little background, the guy who posted this, he's 32, and he starts by talking about how he and his wife lost their first daughter a couple of years ago. He even mentions they went through therapy, moved to a whole new state, trying to start fresh after that.
Sounds like they were really trying to heal and rebuild their life together.
Yeah, they were. But then their second daughter was born, and it sounds like things took a turn. He gives some pretty specific examples of his wife's behavior that are making him worried. Like, he said she wanted to give the new baby the same middle name as their first daughter. He thought it was kind of a sweet gesture at first, but it's like it opened the door to other things that he doesn't know how to deal with.
Yeah, you can see how that would be tough. It's like that line between remembering and replacing. It can get really blurry, especially when you're talking about grief like that. What other examples did he give?
Well, he says his wife is always comparing the baby's looks to her late sister, even though he doesn't see the resemblance. And he talks about catching her singing lullabies, but like swapping out Sunshine with their deceased daughter's name.
Oh, wow. It's heartbreaking, you know. It sounds like she's really trying to keep her older daughter's memory alive through the new baby, but...
I get that feeling too. He said he felt that way at first. But it's getting more intense. Like, he found all this personalized stuff she bought for the baby, blankets and clothes with his deceased daughter's name on them. Almost like she's trying to create a dual identity or something.
Oh, see, that's troubling. Because it really does make you wonder about the boundaries there and what it means for this baby growing up, you know? Like, how does that impact her sense of self?
And it gets even more intense.
Yeah.
He even mentions a shrine. His wife made pictures of both daughters side by side, and she's obsessed with recreating old photos of their first daughter, now with the baby in the exact same poses, like merging their identities.
Yeah, and it's a lot to handle for anyone, right? Let alone someone who's dealing with postpartum recovery on top of everything else. Hormones, emotions, the whole 9 yards.
Totally. And it seems like the Reddit community picked up on that too. A lot of the comments were really concerned, both for the husband and the baby. Like, a lot of people were telling him he needs to get his wife some help.
That's interesting, right? Like, it's become this kind of support system, you know?
Yeah.
Even if it's online, people jump in with advice and stuff. What were some of the comments that stood out to you?
Let's see. There was one that said, this is way beyond just trying to keep her memory alive. She's trying to replace her. And another one was like, this is going to mess the new baby up. Seriously. She needs to be her own person, not to stand in for her dead sister.
Yeah, it's like they get to the heart of the issue, you know? Like that fear that the baby's never going to have a chance to just be herself.
Oh, there's this one that really got to me. It said, OP, my heart breaks for you and your wife. Please gently encourage her to get professional help. She's clearly still so stuck in her grief, and that's not something even the most loving partner can fix alone.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
really compassionate. And it really highlights how important it can be to have a professional step in a situation like this.
For sure. And it wasn't just personal stories either. Some people chimed in who sounded like they had professional backgrounds. Like, there was this one from a therapist specializes in grief and trauma.
Oh, wow. Okay, so they had some insights, I bet. What did they say?
They wrote, while it's totally understandable, this whole merging identities thing, it's not healthy for anyone. It's so important to separate the grief for the child they lost from the love and acceptance of this new baby. They both deserve their own space, their own story.
That is so well said. It's not about forgetting, it's about making room, you know?
Absolutely. And then there was another commenter. They said they were a therapist too, specializing in postpartum mental health. And they said the wife might have postpartum psychosis. Even linked to this resource from the Cleveland Clinic, all about the symptoms and stuff. Really scary.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's super helpful because it's not just speculation, it's concrete information. Gives you something to do, you know?
Totally. So, with all this advice and concern coming from Reddit, what does the husband do? Does he listen? He does. He actually says in the comments that he gets it, like how serious this is, and he's going to get his wife some help.
Oh, thank goodness. It's like you just want to reach through the screen and be like, yes, do that. Because it takes a lot of courage to admit you need help, especially with something this sensitive. It shows he really loves her, you know, and that he wants what's best for both of them and for the baby.
Yeah, totally. He even mentions maybe reaching out to her family, getting medical professionals involved,
Yeah.
wants to make sure everyone's safe and getting the support they need.
Good. That's exactly what you want to hear. It's like he's taking all the right steps, even though it's got to be so tough. Hopefully with the right support, with some professional guidance, they can figure out a way to, I don't know, honor their grief, but also embrace their new baby as her own person, you know?
I hope so too. This whole deep dive has been heavy, man. It just shows you how differently grief can hit people, and sometimes you need a little extra help to work through it.
Yeah.
But it also makes you think about the power of community, even online, right? Like people genuinely offering support, sharing resources, looking out for each other.
Yeah, exactly. Like even with all the craziness online, there's that human connection, you know, empathy, understanding. And in this case, it sounds like it really made a difference. Someone spoke up, he listened, and now they're hopefully on a path to getting help.
For sure. Well, this deep dive has definitely given us a lot to think about. Just a reminder to be kind to each other. You know, you never know what someone's going through.
Yeah.
And to remember that there's no shame in getting help when you need it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, maybe this is something for everyone listening to chew on. How do we hold on to the memory of those we've lost, honor them, but also fully embrace the new lives that come into our world? It's tricky, for sure, but it's a balance we should all strive for.